got to talk about some of these hot takes that I'm seeing out here that people think are going to break the meta. Make sure you guys smash the and crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Dragon's Mirror. Now, this is the takes video. This is everybody has told me something is going to do well out here, something's going to perform well. You know, you got the new branded card. You know, we made the video on the new branded monster out here that, by the way, requires basically six different named branded monsters in the graveyard in order to basically get that maximum value off of the card. And then, you know what I get from the community? They're like, oh my god, you know, Dragon's Mirror. I'm up to about 10 comments now from people that are talking about that Dragon's Mirror is just an insane card. Dragon's Mirror this, Dragon's Mirror that. I'm impressed with how many people are latching on to the idea of wanting to play Dragon's Mirror out here with branded just to make this bad card functional. I guess that's what my takeaway here is. I'm impressed, everybody. I'm impressed that Dragon's Mirror Copium is insanely real, by the way. I didn't have that on my bingo sheet. But I'm also just impressed that how many people want to make Dragon's Mirror actually work. I didn't realize that there were this many people out here that were just this excited to get the opportunity to, I guess, try to make Dragon's Mirror work. Maybe it's just the fact that they saw the new branded feature and like, yes, new branded monster. We want to make that work. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I do not see Dragon's Mirror being a card that is going to live up to the reputation that is being presented out here by the community. You guys are putting it up on such a big pedestal that I swear, maybe I'm just crazy or something, but that's a take, honestly. Yeah, Dragon's Mirror broke in 2025. Invoked is going to break Artamagia. Really? You think that now Invoked is going to be a problem? Oh, come on, guys. You guys can do better than this with the takes. I will say that I have seen Invoked in Artamagia. You've also got to remember Artamagia is on the first step of its support out here. I don't know why people are, I guess, surprised to see that Artamagia is stepping up to be the first of its, you know, the first of the new the first of the new fusion decks out here. But if Invoked is not seeing play in Dragontail, which, by the way, I think we all need to acknowledge here that Dragontail is the best fusion deck in this era, alright? If you're looking at Artamagia, I figured Artamagia would have tried to merge into Dragontail. That's kind of where I was excited to see. I expected to see that there would be, you know, something with that, but that never came to fruition, honestly. But if you want to play regular Invoker and kind of incorporate it on into the deck and just kind of see, you know, if you can get some results, then sure, it might be. But to think that it's going to break Artamagia out here, no, it's not going to. You're dealing with Artamagia is kind of unique in its sense. Until we get more support out here for it, we're going to have to wait and see if that support does push the Artamagia deck a little bit further along. Because right now, you're just using Invoked as a sub-package in the deck to try to, you know, get the deck off of the ground and get in on that base floor and, you know, do your thing. It's the beginning of the support. You guys all remember Diabellstar coming out and like the beginning of the Snake Eye stuff, though. That was a little bit more explosive than what we're dealing with out here. So, all right. So, Fire King is done. It's a failure now. Huh. You know, I don't know how I feel about this statement because, yeah, we have to acknowledge out here that Mitsurugi Rizal or Mitsurugi in general, honestly, is just kind of a better Fire King deck. It feeds into it, so it sets up initially way better than most of this other stuff. So I guess in that sense, you can probably say that we've power crept Fire King out of the meta at this point. I don't think that Fire King's gonna be done per se as a deck for rogue players. No. Don't get me wrong there. I think people can still play the deck. Once again, with any rogue deck, though, I have to remind you that you're gonna have to work for those wins. You know, you can't just go, well, I'm gonna play anti-meta today and I'm gonna be successful with it. No. That's not how that works. If you're choosing to play something like Fire King out here in Alliance Insight format or anything in the future, you're gonna have to work for it. That's all there is to it. I would also mark your calendars. I am expecting Ukalonix reprints to hit the ground running out here relatively soon. I can't imagine that we're not gonna see something on the front of this. It makes sense right now that you would want to push the Fire King reprints. So for the players that are sticking around out here that do want to look at this deck and actually, you know, we can now play it, this is a great opportunity to get them involved so that they can actually play the deck. But power creep is a natural progression in the game. It does happen. You will have decks that will teleport in and out of the meta. I mean, it happens all the time out here. To say that Fire King is a failure, no. The deck is just rogue now. Yay, progressive changes in the meta. Heat wave! So, y'all probably saw the article on the org out here about OCG tech trends and how Heat Wave was doing its job again in the site. Well, first of all, Heat Wave I think is going to show up like 99% of the time out here whenever there's going to be something broken kind of doing its thing in the meta right now. Because Heat Wave just ensures I can go first, I can freeze you over, leave you in kind of a dog shit position, come back to my turn, and then go, wee! You know, just do the OTK wave against the opponent. That's basically what we're looking at right now with you choosing to play Heat Wave. Now, is Heat Wave, you know, good or bad? I would say that it's a tech choice. I don't think Heat Wave is a bad card by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think that people are going to be happy out here with the idea of, oh boy, you know, I just got Heat Waved, yay, like, I love this game so much, Heat Wave should be, you know, they start the rants of Heat Wave should be banned, you know, this is ridiculous, you know, it's the first time I've been Heat Waved in like 3 years out here, card's broken. Yeah, Lingering Floodgates are pretty broken, I will say that, but to call for the immediate ban of something that's now showing up as a tech trend that's probably might roll away in the next week, yeah, that's pretty normal at this point, everybody. So it's when you're dealing with the, I hate these cards, they need to be banned, you know, the takes of takes out here, most of these things do come and go as trends do. It's just, you got to expect people to have a little bit more patience on this side of the meta and, you know, try to go from there, honestly. Honestly, the best advice that I can say is, you know, don't get tossed around, don't get too upset about things. It's just, you know, you can do well. And then, this one's pretty good. Don't buy alt arts. I don't know who's come up with this take, but if I want my Zeus to look really nice, and I want to be able to play with the nice alt art cards, then I should be allowed to do so. There was a discussion a while back about the alt arts and like Konami printing too many of them, they're making the game unrecognizable. You know, it's crazy that they're doing this, but I don't think it's a problem because the cards do the exact same thing as other cards that already exist in the course of the game. I think that you can be patient with these alt arts. I think that you need to also understand that if Konami's printing alt arts, you know, you should already know what these cards do. All right, if your opponent's overlaying after the battle phase and they're making Zeus and you didn't summon 2 times from the extra deck, guess what? It's Zeus and it's not Typhon. All right, I'm sorry to tell you that. You know, there's a little bit more obviousness that comes along with understanding what cards are being thrown around at you out here that you kind of need to be aware of. And, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players needing to understand and, you know what's going on. Those are some very hit or miss things. But I just want to remind you that if you want alt arts, pick them up. You're not going to do anything good or bad. You're just spending more money for a little bit of bling for your deck. And I don't hate that at all. All right, the alt arts are bad trend is freaking horrible. All right, yeah, imagine you're not allowed to enjoy your deck how you want to. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.